welcome to What Is It About the Weather? And our new vidcast series, You Ask and We Answer. In this first episode, we're going to cover a topic that's very important to broadcast meteorologists and how they get you your weather forecast. But first things first, it's a little chilly out here. I think, well, to do the rest of this episode, we're going to head indoors. And as you can see, I was never really outside now, there was I. Not that you were surprised by that at all, as I'm recording this in the south on a day when it's 80 degrees, so the likelihood of there being snow, well, it was pretty slim. But today we're going to talk about a technology that actually came out of Hollywood called chroma key. And chroma key allowed people filming movies or shows of any type to essentially make one color disappear and overlay it with some other shot, some other piece of film, and allowed the beginning of what would be considered special effects in many ways. Now, you've heard things referred to as blue screen and green screen, and quite frankly, you tend to use blue screen more traditionally and had been in meteorology, but it goes well with human tones. But as the advent of digital cameras came around, more and more people switched to green screen because it was better handled by the digital cameras. But still very often it's used by the situation. So actually on the back of this green screen here, I have a blue screen. So if I were in a situation that called for the use of green colors, like showing you a lawn or some flowers that had green on it, I would be much better off using that blue screen. So the question today that was sent to us is, how exactly do meteorologists know what they're doing when they've got this behind them, and quite frankly, most of them have a huge wall of this behind them, when they're presenting to you a weather forecast? Well, we're going to switch away from the green screen for a moment and show you a picture here. Now, this picture was sent to us by a meteorologist friend of mine, Christina Edwards, over in Huntsville, Alabama at WHNT television station there, so you can look her up if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about her. But you can see she's sent me a picture here of her with her green screen, and off to the side you see those monitors per se that give you an idea of what they're seeing actually when you're looking at it as well. So that gives them a visualization of what they're presenting to you in combination with themselves, oddly enough. So it's a combination of what they look like with that information behind them, but also the information in general. And that may be why they have multiple monitors to give them an array of information that's going to help them best present the weather forecast information to you. Now, these types of setups started becoming commonplace in meteorology studios in the 70s, when computers could get fast enough to do things like this. So now I want to show you this cold front moving across the US. Now, as you can imagine, demonstrating that type of motion is a nice thing to be able to do in a weather forecast. But if the image could not move behind you, there really wasn't a need, and that's why in the older studios they just tended to either have weather maps that were drawn or just in a stationary format with maybe magnetic symbols that were added to them. So green screens help broadcast meteorologists provide you a lot of information, or in this day and age, share what their viewers are seeing with photos and images. And of course, it's not just used with meteorology in this day and age, but it's unlikely that you'll find an on-air meteorologist today that's not a great friend with their green screen. Next time, we'll cover what happens when that meteorologist doesn't think too well about the color of the clothes they're wearing and the green screen information behind them. We'll get a good laugh out of a couple of cases where green screens go awry. So next month, we'll cover the topics of evaporative cooling, and for those of you, as we enter spring, who are thinking about getting a personal weather station, things to think about when you're siting that weather station in your yard. And please, send us your questions to What Is It About the Weather? You can reach us a variety of ways at whatisitabouttheweather@gmail.com, or you can also give me that information via Twitter at Mark_Jelinek at Twitter. Or if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at Mark_Jelinek there as well. And again, we look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, have good and exciting weather.